What's going on, everybody? It's Hale with WitnessthelightMusic, and thanks for checking out the video. So this is going to be a mix breakdown of a mix that I did for my Audio Academy. Let's head over to ProTools here. Let's take a look at what they gave us for mixing. And also, I'm just going to play back right now my mix of this song. Here we go.
Is it over? Let's turn to memories before the bang. Is it over? We're just a fantasy that lost its name.
All right, so that is the mix. Let me break down all the stems and we can sort of start seeing what I did here. All right, I'm just going to start with the bass. I'm going to break down the plugins that I used, show you why I used them, and hopefully this is useful to you. Let's check it out. So this is the live bass. This is how it came. And as one, just to control some of the noise, a Neutron transient shaper, just to kind of wake some things up, keep some sustain in the lows. All right, that's gonna sustain the bass and the depth. And then the top is gonna give a little bit more of the pick of the bass, which kind of gives it that rhythm. And then a Pro Q3, taking away some resonance that at the time I did not like. The Sidewidener, give it some width. And we got the MV2. Low, boosting up the lows. Now with that, at the same time, we gotta listen to the sub bass. The Q3 is doing nothing, and then the RBass is just boosting in the 80. I think that's how it fell, and that's how I went with it. So, all right. So now both of these are being routed to the bass bus. Voice of God, I don't think I did anything to it, but it ultimately initially just gives a nice boost. The Fatso, I'm getting a lot of volume from the Fatso. I like it, and I think ultimately it was just put it on, and I was like, I like what it's doing, and I moved on. So that's sort of how I mixed this. This is a transient shaper from Ozone. And I put it on the punchy kick and bass. So that was nice, and I blended in a little bit here. We got 25%. And then we went to black box. I think black box I used as a little bit of saturation, but also giving it some air and controlled the volume on that. Maybe I went a little too low, but that's how we liked it at the moment. So let's move on. We moved on to the kick from here. Let's check it out and see what's happening with the kick. So this is no processing on the kick. And initially just went in and I controlled a little bit of a peak or a resonance I didn't like. The lo-fi. Add a little bit grit to it. The knock. Sometimes I go a little more with the knock, actually, to be honest, but looks like this one didn't need too much. Cofee pun. I'm boosting 2 dB and 50 hertz. You can kind of hear what that's exaggerated, what that's doing. Maybe I would have done some other things as well, but I didn't see the need. I did reduce a little bit of the trim on that just to control that headroom compression. .09 millisecond attack with a 30.0 millisecond release, auto gain off. Yeah, there we go. That was a compression that I felt worked. So we moved on. The black box. So the black box is now giving me some volume, which was nice. And then I went into a parallel kick. Let's listen to that. There we go. That parallel kick is the DBX 160 going into PuigTec with a boost of at 100 hertz, low frequency 7 with attenuation of 4. And that was it. So the kick and the bass are done. All right, so before I move on to other elements, I want to break down the music bus. This is the music bus here. Initially, it starts with a master desk. This here is something that I've been using to gain a little bit of weight on the foundation, so I turned that up a bit. This was also a good idea to do some mono maker or some stereo enhancer, but that's all I did was just a slight reduction on the compression and boosted up the foundation. And then we have the Ozone maximizer. Sometimes I bring this in a little bit more to get more squeeze, but we didn't need that. I didn't do that, so we'll leave it how it is. All right, that was the kick and bass. Next, going to be working on the rest of the drums.